Yep. Right. I think all I have to do is pay attention to you now, and we can just chat whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, man. Well, that's kind of the thing. It was the goal. What we were just talking about. Upload something every week, and we just kind of fell on that. So my pod, yours has a structure. Like it has a that we're gonna talk about TubeBuddy uploading, creating your new channel. Mine has nothing, man. Like I wanna bullshit and do whatever. Like the goal is to actually get something out there. Yeah. And so this is already a win for me, man. Like that is.
Let me ask you this then, and I don't want to steer it too much because it's more on your end this time. You want to like party and shit and throw some of that on there, but do you worry about like, hey, did I party too hard? You got like you got things going on in your personal life. Can you put that on YouTube, all the partying? Would you be...
Dude, I think about that all the time, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like, and this is an idea that I've been playing with for, I think, 3.5 years. So, for a while I even had some videos made, completely different concept, like it was just, almost my face was not in it, or I was not narrating, like it was just clips and clips of videos of like festivals or going out with a friend even and just having a couple of drinks, but like, like one of those times that I have a couple of friends and I playing board games, like I just wanted to upload us playing the board game, but by the end of it, this friend there and I just so drunk that it just sounds ridiculous, and just start thinking like, well, what if my employer or anyone that I work with sees that? Like, would you really care? Do I not give a shit? Like, what is the point? And so, anyways, it always kept. It was one of the big reasons why I would not upload these videos. And then I started thinking, the more I started following like these channels that I'm telling you about, I started realizing that I wanted to do something similar for two reasons. For one, they were talking about interesting stuff, but it was just mundane stuff, and I always thought, well, my life entertaining enough like to talk about stuff like that? And I thought yes. And the second thing was like they were completely themselves, like 100%, and I was like, well, why can I not be 100% myself? And it comes to, why would I care? And to like your professional life, which is what those channels that I follow do not have. They don't have a boss or someone that might fire them
that you know about.
Yeah. Again, going back to that, they're being original, man. And like the more time it passes, and I guess the more mature I am, and the more I realize that people appreciate the truthfulness of it, like just the being honest, and that people are not as close-minded as you think. The example that I was going to give you is I had Kristen got here on the 10th. I had a very long day at work. It was just a lot of bullshit. I think I even texted you, like, man, it was one of those at 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So around 4 p.m., like I knew I was going to have to be there for a while, and I was still hungry. So I went out for a quick bite to eat, and I went on my own. And I figured I'll have a quick beer. I'll have a bite to eat, I'll return to work, and I'll try to finish it not as grouchy, with a good attitude, whatever, until I have to go and pick up Kristen from the airport. Story short, I run into someone from work, this lady, who I will omit her name for now, but the point is, I work with her, and she's been dealing with a lot of crap. She's not really IT, but we just let our IT manager go, and she's been dealing with all this crap. And she's like, Daniel? And we just started talking, and I always would have thought of her as the most conservative, kind of boring at all, because she's cool to the opposite. But how can I explain? Like, I mean, I'm 30, she's obviously in her 50s. Like, I would not have that much to relate on, And I don't know how we even got into this topic. She brought it up because I know I would be too shy to even bring it up. But she's like, so did you see that weed will legalized, or has been officially legalized in Illinois? And I was like, yeah, I saw something about it. And I figured, like, you're being professional, you're talking to someone about work, and I just left it at that. And she literally like, yeah, I thought it was cool. And like, she has a sip of her beer, and she's like, I am so excited. That is just me going on a tangent, but going on to the original point is people appreciate the honesty, man. Like, and people many times have this fake image of themselves, and I'm tired of that. So like, if YouTube is not the place to be my own self, where will it be? And I think that I just need to at some point have the balls to freaking do it. You just talk about anything. Like if I drunk with Kristen and we go to this taco place and we can barely walk, upload that. If I go out with you in Oklahoma City and we meet up with James on something which we both know that normally doesn't end up like exactly great, upload that. Like, people do that. Like it's not like we are living like this insane life to begin with. Like, everyone
we'll get James we'll get him in trouble.
Yeah. So he actually, I already asked him. I gave him a call about that, and I told him like I want to do. I pretty much asked him to see the one that you and I have. And man, he was all over it. He's like, man, you let me know when. You know, James,
we should both do it. In fact, we ought to like make a vacation out of it one day, and like, hey, all three of us, we're gonna go out and literally interview the hell out of each other all weekend, drinking, and then like maybe some real content, you know, like.
Dude, absolutely. Like, imagine just the stories that we have, the three of us, and it's not like exactly like we grew up together or anything, you know, by any means.
Don't talk about Megabed too much.
Right. Like that's a good one, and so like the point is, he was all up for it, and he went for me. You know, like you let me know the weekend. I'll fly there. I'll take off work. Like we'll make it happen. Or you let me know next time that you and Chris are coming to Oklahoma, and I'll take off work. Like we'll do a 3-hour. You want to do a 1-hour interview? Like whatever. So the point is, it's there, man. The second person that I talked to about doing this was DJ.
Yeah.
You've met DJ once, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I think we've jumped out of an airplane with them once.
Okay, so that was Rohit.
But it was DJ's and their friends.
It's DJ's friends, yeah. And DJ was in your house at one point. I remember that vividly, and it's just so weird because like I remember it perfectly. But every time I tell DJ about you, I'm like, yeah, like we're in his house, like we were here, like he had this couch, it was originally mine. I tell him all these things, and he's like, I don't remember. When I tell you, I know that you don't exactly remember, but you guys have met each other.
Yeah. No, I remember meeting DJ and Rahit. Yeah, I remember, and I remember jumping out of the airplane with everybody and. Fuck that day. That's a story in itself.
That's a story. Like man, I tell people that and they don't believe me. You know?
Nobody believes me because they're like, you can't do that solo. I'm like, we fucking did it solo.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, man. We could talk about that day on itself, you know. But there's so many of those, and Rohit has an interesting story as well. Like he's now a pilot for I guess an oil private company there in Oklahoma, and he's got a pretty sweet job. He doesn't deal with all the commercial crap and gets to travel all over the U.S. and just go on vacation and gets paid for it. Again, just talk to these people about how the heck did they get there.
We've got to figure something out, man. Like,
yeah.
I mean, great. YouTube's great, but I'll take a corporate job if that requires me to travel around the world and have fun. Like, there's my stipulation.
No, absolutely. And that is the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure that it's just now more difficult than that, right? Like you have your son. There's Jen, Kristen, Dylan. I think that Kristen could get a traveling nurse job or something. But even if she didn't get that, like the point is that we could make it work. Like I know we could make it work because I think that, for example, you and I have enough resume building skills, and we would be able to look hard enough for a corporate job that lets us travel and let's say that pays $60K a year. I think that's completely doable. Like I really,
especially if so, you know, we both make pretty good money right now, and $60K is definitely not even close. If we did it together though, like, hey, these trips are planned together because this is $60K is great if you only have to pay for like a portion of things, right? So what if we both go together? It's like, oh, well, $60K becomes, that's more like $90K because every time we travel together and it's cheaper. You know, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is that would be harder, right? Because that means that we were either both working for the same company that would allow us to go to the same client or whatever.
No company.
Or that
YouTube.
It would have to be like a freelancer kind of thing. Like the only jobs that we would get that would allow us to have that lifestyle in which we can have the people we care about travel with us, or that we can travel and then like support them or whatever you want to call it, would be like, this is my dream job, one that I would love, like being a food critic.
Food critic, you know,
that would be great, man. Like you would get to drink, you would get to taste delicious stuff, and like get to travel. And say what? Oh yeah, but that's one of the few cases that Kristen was telling me. Anthony Bourdain is dead, and he got to do that. I was like, well, yeah, okay, well, one case that maybe. But he still had one of the most interesting lives in the world, right? Like definitely learned a ton. Had ramen with President Obama. Like I mean, how many people could say something?
You know what's funny is we get good at this like YouTube thing. We get good at like making money online, and then we put and this may come across wrong, but Then we put Kristen and Jen in front of the camera, and all of a sudden they get like 10 times the amount of views and subscribers, and we're like, what the fuck? Like, we did all the work. But I know Jen's too shy. She won't do behind the camera. But do you ever get like
she doesn't want
bummed
to do
out? Like, not bummed out, but maybe I'm insecure. But like, do you ever think like, damn, like women do kind of have it easy? I think when it comes to getting subscribers and views on YouTube. I went back to the wrong YouTube. We might need to edit this whole thing out. Basically, I wanted to talk about boobies without being too sexist or misogynist or whatever it's called.
No, you're good. Let me put it this way. I know where you're coming from. Like, we live in a time where we have to be careful about what we say, right? So especially if we were to put this in the channel, like even saying something like what you said, which is not misogynistic or sexist or whatever, you're hesitant about saying it. But the reality of it is the perfect example in a lower scale of that is Instagram. Yeah, there's way more women that will have a successful Instagram account as long as they just put pictures of their booty and their boobs. Like, it's just easier, and that's not being said. That's a fact, right? Like it is just.
I mean, even my YouTube, I have those analytics. Let me ask you this though: what if there was another partner? Like, eventually, like, we're not partners, but like, what if there was like an opportunity to say, hey, we can work together, and like, I know all. What about including a woman? I was just watching some Amazon video, and it was on Amazon. I was looking up tripods for my iPhone. I clicked on the video because Amazon's got videos now, like in their actual description, and they've had that. But every ad, every commercial you've ever seen all throughout your entire life, there's a really pretty woman doing the ad or whatnot, and I'm like, well. You got Daniel's adventures in his 30s and what he's going to do. Where is he going to zip line? But is it just Daniel, or can it be Daniel and someone else that's eye candy for a lot of men and women and whoever, the audience? Is that bad for me to say? I mean,
not at all. Like, I literally have thought about it. Kristen has already been explicit. So I don't want to be a part of your channel, like, at all.
Yeah, Jen doesn't either. You know? Maybe Jen and Kristen can do like their own thing without their voice or their hands in it.
Kristen did totally just give me like this
finger. Like, they're more skilled than we are by far, and yet.
On that topic for sure. Like, there's not even a question that they are. But I'm sure that they just have no interest in doing it. You know, like, it's just Kristen doesn't care, and more power to her. But yeah, it's also not about forcing them, right? Like, if they don't have interest, then that's cool. Yeah. But then not that it presents a separate challenge to us. In a way, it's even it creates some other opportunity. But it makes you think of that. We went to play racquetball yesterday because I want to make sure that Dylan has an active lifestyle, and that I do too. Man, I'm a fat ass right now. Kristen's really skinny, but she has terrible physical condition, and so I think she thinks she doesn't need to work out because she looks good. But I'm telling her, no, like anyone, doesn't matter if you're skinny. Like, you
can't see what's inside your heart.
Like, I'm pushing her so that I'm like, I will actually lose weight. Like it'll help me, and then you'll be healthy. Like, you will not actually feel out of breath after just 10 minutes of running or whatever. So we played racquetball for about 30 minutes, and I recorded it because I figured, like, I'm gonna put some of that in there, but I have to do it in a way either blurring her face or pretty much making sure that she's not almost not a part of it. And then as it turns out, I decided I'm not going to use that footage anyways, because we both looked extremely pathetic and we were like sweating like crazy after like 20 minutes. But the point is, it's difficult. Like, it's not like I'm going to upload footage of me of doing that on my own. There are certain activities, a lot of them that I'll be doing with Kristen, that I would like to be able to share.
Yeah.
And if they're not on board, well, then they're not on board. So it's just a different challenge.
There's so many challenges in life. But, you know.
And it's no big deal. Like, again, I think that we will get to, right now, I'm still in a point like, before I start the video, I'm like, okay, what are the steps that I need to follow? What are the things that I'm going to talk? I think that we'll both get to a point, whether it's with you doing the videos on R or Visual Basic or on YouTube creation or whatever it may be, or me just talking about this stuff, we will get to a point that content will not be an issue. Like, I think, if anything, that will have an extra surplus. It'll just be having the time to actually record. But anyways, going back to that, like, that'll be an interesting change. I don't enjoy waking up early, but
yeah, fuck that.
I go through periods where I will do it. I almost don't want to even say it on video because it's pathetic how much I fail at it. Like, if I say I'm gonna go to the gym 5 times a week and wake up at 5 a.m., like I will do it 2 times a week. But the point is, I can somewhat do it. With Kristen being here, I know that will change. But that is definitely difficult because she's a morning person. She enjoys being in bed, and like the last couple of mornings, like I see her enjoying bed, like everything, and it just makes it harder on me, man. Like I get out, everyone is doing the same thing, but when I see how delicious it is to stay in bed, man, it makes it harder. You know. So, anyways, do you struggle with that at all?
Yeah, I'm in the East Coast now. Like when I'm East Coast time, nobody shows up to work till about 9:30ish, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock sometimes, and they just do their 8 hours or whatever and go home. It's really nice, man. Like East Coast versus where I was at in Oklahoma was ridiculously different. Like we literally cater to like having that balance of work at home balance because everyone's a professional around here. Of course, I mean DC area and you're in Chicago, like you have professionals everywhere, and DC is like got the most researchers and the most PhD per capita in the entire nation. I mean, everybody here is doing something professional. So like their job isn't like a clock in, clock out job. Their job is long-term projects and research. So they're like, well, no, I'm going to do that like tomorrow. Like I have to leave early on Friday, and they just go. There's no, you don't have to ask anybody. You just show up to work for a couple hours, do your thing, get home. Yeah. It's not quite like that where I'm at, but I mean, it's close, and I love it.
No, I bet you do. It just seems very more so than Chicago. Very white collar. And the thing is, it's not exactly. I think like Chicago is very mixed in that aspect. I mean, if you work downtown and everything, you're absolutely right. But there's still plenty of manufacturing going on in the Chicagoland area. It's an interesting line because I work in exactly in a position that divides those two lines. Like I work with people in manufacturing, people in the floor, from people that get paid, like $10 an hour, to operators that are making 6 figures a year. And it's those little things that you mentioned that make such a drastic change in life. Like people have to clock in, clock out. You want to take this specific vacation? We can't. That's the busiest time of the year. Like, those things change, and in DC, it has to be completely different. A different world where it's mostly white collar. That must be interesting.
It really is. I mean, literally everybody is around me white collar. Now, there's obviously rural areas and whatnot, but I definitely enjoy it. I love it, and it's a step up. Oklahoma City, where I was at, my previous job. I mean, it's night and day. And my previous job, people would love. They'd love to retire at my previous job and be like, this is great. And I'm not even trying to brag on my own, but what I can't explain to people in Oklahoma, which I know you can also like relate to, is like I can't explain it to them, but I feel like they're living like 1/15 of the life they could be living if they just moved away or did something outside of Oklahoma. Like it's literally like I'm like, I can't even explain it, but like you guys have no idea how much better it is out there. Like just do it. Like why are you so afraid? It's because of families and shit. And when you're in your 30s, your parents are getting old, your grandparents are getting old. You got to take care of them. Like it's
absolutely. The family bond is a difficult one, but it's a combination of a lot of things, man. I used to think that all the time, and what you're saying is 100% correct. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. Like difficult area because people also have very good like that life that we're discussing. Like it is achievable. Like you can totally get that in Oklahoma. It is just harder. There's a lot of people in Oklahoma that make decent money in whether it's a farming or working with a certain type of lame equipment or something that you and I would consider lame.
Oil
they like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that what you're mentioning is like for certain people, that especially that we went to school with, a lot of international students and a lot of maybe STEM majors and all this type of stuff. I'm with you. I mean, it's definitely it's just better. That being said, man, like I know this might be kind of hard or crazy for you to hear, but I miss Oklahoma. I really do, man. Like from time to time. Sometimes I think like maybe I want to move back there. Like I miss the simplicity of it. I miss how cheap it was, no traffic.
It's the people. I meet people everywhere I go, and I enjoy the people that I meet in Oklahoma. I don't go to the hole-in-the-wall bars in Oklahoma because first of all they're smoky as fuck, and then like the people are like definitely not interested in what I'm interested in. I don't want to talk about sports. I want to talk about politics, or I want to talk about technology or programming or some shit. Like, my neighbors here are applied physicists, and I'm talking about like photons bouncing across like quantum fucking fields and shit. Like, it's ridiculous, you know? And
Right.
and that's the conversation that I have every day here, every single day.
You couldn't do that with your neighbors in your Midwest city
No,
apartment?
not the one that got shot up with that 45 and literally put bullet holes through my kitchen while I was there. No, I couldn't do it there. Once in a while, you know, you go to McNally's down in Oklahoma City and you kind of get like a little bit more of the professional crowd. But even then, it's like, no, it's somebody visiting their dying wife or something that's at the McBride Hospital next door, and they're from East Bumfuck 3 hours away, have no idea, and I feel really bad for them. But it's and I don't know if you want to do politics or anything, but it's, I mean, hardcore Trump supporters everywhere, and I just can't have those conversations. It'll ruin my day.
Yeah, no, and I guess I get it. Like, it's just I feel I went through the most extreme change in that, like to the point that I had not only learned to appreciate Oklahoma and that we need those extremes, but you know, like, I literally lived through it. I mean, I went from living in Mexico City, fucking massive city, to Oklahoma City, and it was brutal, honestly. Like, that was the hardest part of my life. Like, it was absolutely insanely brutal. And parts of what I hated, like how are people so ignorant, how is this like whatever, are things that I just learned later. Like, that's why, like I see it, I get it. Like, I see why they think that way. The Trump thing is one of those things, man. Like, I mean, a lot of my schooling and even professional career has been, you know, Wichita, Oklahoma, North Dakota. Like, I mean, places where I would only meet these people, you know. And one thing, it was one of these things that I just kind of learned. Many of these people extremely educated, right? Engineers, some of them managing a company. They're all extremely nice. They're always very welcoming with me. They will even say sometimes something racist, not pointing towards me. They would not even notice that it was, and they then turn around and be completely nice. So again, people that I just admire overall. And I was like, well, if I share ideologies on everything, on how they treat people, how their work ethic, you know, I always admire people that knew that much and whatever. Why do we see eye to eye so different on these other things? Yeah. I mean, it is just the fact that I haven't lived it exactly like they have. And those people that you're talking about, also, they haven't lived your side. You know, and so I wish there was a way for us to live like a combination of both. And I feel like I have, but the thing is, like, you live it at different times in your life, where, like, it's obviously a lot more valuable at 18 in Oklahoma than it was my previous 18 years of age in Mexico City, where I didn't know or care for politics or anything else.
Yeah, anyway. No, you're exactly right, and that's part of the problem, and that's part of the thing is, it all comes down to a lot of it has to come down to education. And a lot of education in the Midwest and the Southwest is they truly believe in, like, private schools. If your parents were successful, you should be able to send your kids to a good, prominent private school, and they can get educated and they can be able to apply for jobs. A lot of times they just don't know how to put themselves into your position. And I know this for a fact. You got the Betsy DeVoses in there, and you have them saying, hey, charter school. All you have to do is apply for it. Applying for it is a 4-hour job that when mom or dad gets home from work, when they're both working, nobody wants to fill out a FAFSA. So sorry, kid, you're not going to that charter school that's free. And by the way, some undocumented kids, things like that, like, they're screwed. And I don't want to go on a tangent too much from politics, but we just had some of that in the news lately, and I want to say that, like, when you have an undocumented population, some of them, and they're not getting healthcare and they're not getting education, they're still going to stick around and they're still going to make ends meet somehow or another. If we actually gave them healthcare and education, they would make ends meet in a better fashion, I would think. So if we made it easier for them, then I think that would help all of society. And me, I'm not going to talk about where I work, but, like, I work with, like, society. And if society benefits, then it's a beneficial thing for everybody, right?
Sure. I haven't seen it, actually, but it's something I've been telling Kristen about. And one, it's this document, America is Me. It's a documentary based on Oak Park, where I live, Chicago. And it's like a small suburb, right between the line that the suburbs start and the city, right? And documentary, I guess, focuses on what you mentioned, like the huge differences. Well, it focuses obviously the differences in races and everything, but like even though it's one small suburb, like how certain areas of the suburb that have a better school affect the whole area, like the way people interact, again the opportunities, right? It's education. It is what you were saying. The other thing is I have this friend of mine, David Frick. He's from Oklahoma, and I met him in Kansas actually in the job, but he now just graduated with his master's in urban planning from NYU. And he was telling me all about that, like how they took a whole class or course or something that focused on that, on like the different. He actually told me that way. I asked him like, tell me a couple of things that you've learned about your class, that, like things that stuck out. Like what are those things? Like he told me, well, one of them, like the number one, is crazy to me how much of a difference it makes for someone to be born in a specific area. Of course, that seems like common sense. Well, if your parents have money, or if you're born in one state or the other. But even within inside a state, like within an area, how much your opportunities, your education, just from the people that you'll be interacting with. So, anyways, I just went to this thing.
No, and I enjoy our little tangent, because I can definitely talk this. So, like, we should add this to the list of shit to talk about, because I can talk this stuff. You're absolutely right, and I notice it with like just my own nephews growing up in South Carolina versus where I grew up in Massachusetts. Like, I'm very blue. Like, I'm very blue.
Yeah.
I'm very liberal, whatever, right? My nephews, who admire me, I know they do. They love, like, a lot of the stuff I do in life. They want to strive to, and they don't say this to me, but, you know, you can tell that, like, you know, they know that Mark lives the good life, and he done something right, blah, 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 blah. Good role model, right? I'm not trying to be bashful to my own self or whatever, but they're hardcore, like, they claim that they're not Trump supporters, but they're hardcore red and they're hardcore. I mean, they grew up you can tell they grew up in a different area that is completely like not the ideals. They don't know all the lingo yet, but it's unreal how messed up they really are with some of their terminology.
Yeah.
They have no idea how bad their system is. And they grew up, well, this might be a little bit too much information, but, you know, they grew up kind of poor.
Right.
They grew up pretty poor. And in the poor neighborhoods, you live in, like, you know, trailer homes, things like that. Like, your education system's going to suck. And, like, what I can see as a full-grown adult that's gone through the wickets of everything, all I can see is, like, damn, like, something really, like, has to change in their lives. Otherwise, they're going to be part of that equation of...
It's rough because it's not exactly something that they. Sometimes it's just luck, or like not exactly something they can control. But if they were only able to be exposed, right, for maybe either a year, or for them to just like, I don't know, man. Like it's just difficult. The difficult topic all around. I guess it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Like if you could tell certain people, right? Like there's someone that I won't mention this person's name, but that you and I have in common, and that I think you know that I begged and I kept telling, you need to exit, you need to leave in order for your life to, and it's just one of those things that, well, how? Like how do I leave? I wanted to say to that person was like, well, if I was in your spot, like I would just leave, like you'll figure it out once you're there, but just freaking leave. But easier said than done, right? Like I mean, it's also not fair to assume that it is that simple. We don't know the ties to their family or their dependencies or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just a difficult topic overall. But again, we should retouch on that one because it's a good one, and it's a bunch of it. But anyways, just changing topic because otherwise we'll leave this conversation till 8 p.m. I wanted to touch base on that thing again, like because. It was hard, and just think about it. We don't have to do it right now, but how can I address talking to my boss or to a direct superior about telling them something that is so obvious without offending? Yeah, you know, and like the reason this came about, and I hope this doesn't suddenly reaches her, which she doesn't know how to use the blind carbon copy, and it literally gives me this feeling inside, like I want to tell her, like, do not click reply all to that. Like I'm literally including you. Just this is for your eyes only. But I don't know how to say it in a non-offensive way.
It's really hard. What kind of relationship you have with her in person when you actually do work on site with her, or him. Well, it's a her. But like without knowing the relationship, and maybe even like a diversity gap when it comes to like age. Like, is she older, younger? She's obviously female, you're male. So there's differences, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. But I do think age might have something to do with it. Well, it was just a pure guess, though.
But I again, maybe just to close this, but how would you address it with your boss? Like, let's suppose that your boss is 20 years older than you. Doesn't matter if it's female or male. And it is just something obvious, right? Like how to use a blind carbon copy on an email. Like, how would you tell him, hey, listen, every time that you're screwing me over, every time that you click reply all, like.
Let me ask you this: is there any way you can instead of blind carbon copy her, when you get the emails back from the person that you're sending them to, can you just forward those to her?
Absolutely.
So that there's
absolutely, I could do that. Why would I? I work with a professional. I guess that's kind of where I'm trying to go. Like, believe it or not, and again, this is another idea for the video. But like, one of my previous bosses was very strict about that, like the use of Outlook and your time management skill. And so like, if for some reason it made me be a little bit anal about it. And I just think like people should know the basics of freaking Outlook and email sending. If we're gonna be sending each other these insane chains every day, so I could do it. To answer your question, I could do it. I just like, I feel like why should I have to send another additional email for this? Like, when it's a basic function.
You give me hope. Because there's plenty of that everywhere. I think any company that's got to be like somewhat sizable has every type of person that either knows or doesn't know. I mean, the amount of skills they have, and they've been working on these computers for years.
Yeah, that's the part
why didn't you YouTube this? Why didn't you Google it? Why didn't you figure out how to like do this?
Brutal. There's another guy, and I feel even worse for him because I know he's about to be let go for this reason. But he's one of the. I should not. He just has an important position. Okay, so let's just say like he manages a lot of people, right? Like on all departments. Like he's high up. He says the right things. He's got the right mentality. He's a good person. But I know he's got yak shit for computer skills to the point that I would send him some. He's right next to me, and I'm like, I just forwarded you that email, and so he clicks on it on Outlook, and he sees white. So he's like, no, it's not there. Like you send me blank content, and I have to tell him you have to scroll down. It's a forward. Like the content is below because I'm forwarding you the email. So like, what are the other? God. Dude, it's like,
yeah, that's rough.
How are those people not YouTubing, like what you just said, like YouTubing or Googling, like a little bit, like how to use Outlook, how to use Excel, like why would you not be doing that?
It all takes time for sure. Like, with Dylan and my kid, like doing all this crap on the screen, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't have time. Well, that guy's probably in the same boat, except maybe I'm not trying to give him excuses, but if he's a lot older. He's like, why would I need to learn that shit? Like, I'm just going to tell you what I want to be done, and that's going to work. I don't know.
But what would you do? Like, let's suppose that right now your position gets destroyed, and you have to, like they told, now you're going to be be whatever, but you don't know yak about it. So what would you do? You would probably spend at least 1 hour a day Googling and trying to learn on your own, right? Like, or am I wrong? Like, would you not do that?
No, definitely I would. You're right about that. So, like, I'm going to bring it back to, I don't know where I'm going with this, actually. Fuck.
No, you're good.
I think the wine hit me.
Next time I will join you for sure with a wine, man. Like, I feel, like, out of place without you drinking and me not drinking. I don't think that's ever happened. So,
it's good, except I'm worried about the green screen effect. It's going to really jack it up, but it'll be all right.
Whatever. But yeah, man, we can close it for now if that works.
Okay, but what are your plans? I mean, what are you gonna do?
For the rest of the night?
I mean, you don't have to tell me everything, but I mean, like, do you have like dinner plans coming up, or?
Well, for one, I came home and the house is perfectly. The tiny apartment I have is already perfectly clean, but I'm guessing that we're gonna plan a little bit. Like, we're gonna be doing a lot of moving in the next 2 weeks. So probably do that. I'm gonna take her for dinner I know she hasn't had anything to eat, so I might have a martini. Yeah. She might have some dinner, and then probably watch some. We're watching this show. It's not great, Nosferatu. And so anyways, just chilling. But again, it can be tricky when at least you have a space. Like your son and Jennifer are doing her own thing, but she has to be listening to me because she's, like I have one room. It's a one studio.
Oh yeah.
So that's.
Oh, that is kind of crazy. Like, this is a 2-bedroom, but even when I had the 1 bedroom, you had the living room and the bedroom, now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it was good. I think.
Well, this was good. This was number 2. So, what is your channel? Just say it so that people in my channel can link to you.
I'm not only gonna say it. I'm gonna express myself.
Okay.
It's it's Mark Gingrass, MarkGingrass, and appreciate you having me on your whatever the heck channel you got going on.